Hey, and welcome back to Miss Kitty's Wild West Adventures. Today, we're uncovering secrets buried deep within Nashville, Tennessee. There, in a museum vault, lies a relic that has scared both young and old alike. Once belonging to an infamous bushwhacker, pulled from the depths of said bushwhacker's grave, this relic made its way through the carnival and circuses of the South before finally settling at the Tennessee State Museum. What could this relic be that's 200 years old and still haunts patrons of the museum? Stay tuned to find out. Welcome back. This story was requested by Fastgrass. Thank you very much for the suggestion. I had never heard of him before, but I really appreciate this. And now, on with the story. Our story begins with the tale of the great Western land pirate. Born around 1806 in the hills of Virginia, he was raised in Tennessee by his Methodist circuit rider father and his brothel-owning mother. He was convicted as a horse thief when he was just a teenager. He was branded, flogged, and sentenced to 6 years in prison. In 1829, he finally got his freedom.
Freedom didn't temper his criminal inclinations. In 1834, he found himself behind bars once more, this time for the heinous crime of slave stealing. Despite brief glimpses of freedom, his life would end in November 1844, just 9 months after his final release. And now, a grim reminder of his existence resides in the Tennessee State Museum, one of his thumbs on display, a macabre trophy of his reign of terror. But there's a darker aspect to our outlaw's activities that often goes overlooked, the sinister operation known as the Reverse Underground Railroad. Under the guise of a liberator, he would offer enslaved individuals the promise of freedom, coaxing them away from their masters with tales of a better life beyond the horizon. However, little did they know that this journey towards freedom was merely a cruel facade. Our outlaw, acting as a conductor on his twisted railway, would instead deliver these hopeful souls into the hands of new masters, perpetuating the cycle of bondage and betrayal. The Reverse Underground Railroad was a well-oiled machine of deception, with our outlaw at its helm. His silver tongue and charismatic persona were powerful tools in luring unsuspecting victims into his web of deceit. This aspect of our outlaw's story sheds light on the depths of his depravity and the extent of his exploitation, tarnishing the romanticized image of the outlaw with the harsh reality of human cruelty.
It's important to note here that there are many different stories of Murrell. I've tried to find the most common and frequently cited facts for this video. So don't come at me if something is different than what you know about Murrell. These are the most common facts, most popular facts known about him.
But our outlaw story is not just one of crimes committed. It's also steeped in conspiracy and mystique. Legend has it that he was more than a mere thief. He was a mastermind, orchestrating schemes that sent shockwaves through the South. Operating under the guise of a traveling preacher, he would preach while his gang of outlaws plundered the countryside. From Jackson County, Tennessee, to the bustling port of Natchez, Mississippi, his hideouts were as numerous as his victims were unsuspecting. And then there were the whispers of the Mystic Clan, a shadowy organization allegedly formed by our outlaw to recruit slaves and build an army with ambitions to seize control of New Orleans.
Hey, I hate to interrupt the story, but if you're liking this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and make sure you are subscribed to Miss Kitty's Wild West Adventures.
The legacy of our outlaw lives on in more than just historical records. Mark Twain once drew parallels between him and the infamous Jesse James, immortalizing him in the annals of American folklore. Even in Twain's classic novel, Tom Sawyer, Murrell's treasure is mentioned, fueling the imaginations of generations to come. Speaking of Murrell's treasure, it's rumored to be scattered across the land, waiting to be discovered by intrepid adventurers. Could it be that our outlaw faked his own death, disappearing into the wilderness with his ill-gotten gains? Or does his spirit still linger, haunting the very places where he once roamed? Our thoughts drift to that peculiar display in the Tennessee State Museum, the severed thumb of the infamous outlaw John Murrell. It's like a chilling souvenir from a bygone era, reminding us of the wild tales that once roamed these lands.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Miss Kitty's Wild West Adventures. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell for notifications. And let me know down in the comments. Were you familiar with the story? Have you ever seen the thumb on display at the Tennessee State Museum? And in the meantime, I'll catch you on down the trail.